Huh?
Geark. It's Craig backwards.
No.
It's
What?
Craig
No.
backwards, and it does the same job, but it's focused on a different hemisphere.
Is it made by the same people?
Yep, same guy. Same guy. So that
Okay. Geark.
Geark.
Get him in here.
Geark.
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers.
Got a little
Cheers to
whiskey
you.
water.
What are you sipping on?
Oh,
here?
what you got?
I got myself a little peach sour. Peach sour ale.
Ooh,
Is
okay.
not bad. Is not bad.
I've got some Maker's Mark and water on ice.
Cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you. So, going into this week, TBL's away on assignment. You get picked up. What's the first thought that goes through your head? You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited.
You
Is this a
smell what
trick
the news
question?
of Destiny. No, you smell what the news of Destiny 2 is bringing
Yes.
to you. Hell yeah!
Yes. Yeah.
Sounds
I mean, without
good.
the sweet voice of TBL, it's tough, man. It's tough to fill those shoes.
Yeah, it's hard out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's every time I have to host.
This Week in Destiny with TBL.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I have to host without TBL, I'm just like, and stuff. This happened. So
TBL really does do a wonderful job.
he pulls
He
it all
does.
together. He pulls the entire room together. He is the rug of the Planet Destiny team. That being said, hello.
I believe in you and us.
My name is Dan Finity, and welcome to the Planet Destiny episode number 282. We got TBL's away on assignment, or a Nim also on separate assignments. I'm left with the keys to the kingdom tonight, and I invited a good friend of the show and Planet Destiny stream team member IcemaN1H to the show
Hello.
to hang out. How are you today? You doing all right?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
Good.
Yeah.
So,
It's a bajillion degrees out, and it's impossible to go outside, so I'm in my basement.
yeah,
Feels good.
The air conditioning doesn't make it to this room, so I feel you. I got
Oof.
Fandinity rolling. It is
Identity.
Fandinity. Yeah, he sits under my
That's
desk
amazing.
and he makes sure that I stay cool in all the places
Oh.
that matter. So,
Oh.
we had a little bit of a fashion show this week. What did you submit anything for the fashion show?
I didn't.
You did.
I didn't. Honestly, I caught it too late. I
Yeah.
didn't realize that it was going. And then I'm pretty sure what I have now is really close to what I submitted in the past, and it didn't win. So I was
Yeah.
like, I'm good.
So it goes. Like, I mean,
Did you?
I did submit. My Guardian. Before we started recording, you said that like your character is all like fashion stuff from previous to Transmog, right?
Yep. I used a lot of, and I've always, since like Destiny 1, loved Dawning gear
Yeah.
and like certain pieces of Dawning stuff. So a lot of my gear is Dawning related, and it's like the ones that has like the horns and the spikes all over the place, but it's like really sleek looking.
Yeah.
So he's the horny hunter.
Cheers. Cheers to that one. Woo!
I always do my hunter though. Like if I'm going to submit fashion, I feel like I have to do hunter because
Yeah.
hunter main. So
Well, I mean, fair. I mean, that's over half the populace in Destiny 2, correct? So,
yeah, true.
yeah. Since I have to be a Titan until Witch Queen, I ended up I ended up submitting my Titan, which I actually like how it looks quite a bit. It's got like a couple of blue pieces. I've been enjoying Transmog way early in the process, and so I had a couple of blue pieces that I kind of had my eye on, thinking that maybe like it would look pretty good, and then then when it came out, I was like, oh, this works really well. This works really well. And the Trials of the Nine shader from back in the day, that
Yeah.
still looks good on everything.
It does.
Yeah.
It's like one of the perfect shaders. If we never got Chatter White,
Yeah.
I feel like that would pretty much be like the acceptable Chatter White.
Yeah. Like, fair. Like, Bitter Pearl is nice, and I like that it has, like, little animation bits to it.
Yeah.
But when it comes to just overall, like, sleek black and white fashion, I was never, like, a Dead Orbit guy.
Really?
Yes, I was never a Dead Orbit guy. I was...
Huh.
Man, I'm gonna have to like post a TikTok or something of me burning
Were
Future
you
War
Future
Cult shirt.
War Cult?
I'm gonna have to start burning Future War Cult shirts.
Oh,
I think. I
come
know.
on.
I know. It was the
That
Rainbow Death
that brings
Squad
physical
though.
pain.
Yeah, now it does. Now I feel
No,
real
back then
weird
it did
about it.
too.
Yeah.
The colors were just like Ronald McDonald threw up on the floor, and
But at the
that was
same
it.
time, fun and whimsy.
Sure, sure.
And now it's just tainted by horrible.
Honestly, I was always a big fan of New Monarch stuff.
Yeah.
I love that dark red
Mm-hmm.
and then the white to go with it. Oh, it always looks so good. But like, if I had to pick, it was always Dead Orbit because can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I had a bunch of future work on stuff, but yeah, I don't know. Like, so I submitted that. I also went into one of the rooms in last week's expunge mission. There, it's just a room that's like entirely white. So I was like, I'm gonna take my photo in there, and there's the emote where it looks like you can't get signal on your phone.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
used that. Just tried to make a joke out of it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel like Nim has come up with some amazing, really like dark, twisted warlock looks, and they
Yeah.
haven't won. It's tough, man. It's tough out there.
Yeah, man, it's hard out here. It's hard
Yeah.
out here for Destiny fashionistas.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Usually, if you make a Titan that just looks awful and ridiculous, you win. That's kind of the strat,
Yeah,
from what I see.
yeah. Chrismo, where you at? Anyways,
Yeah.
so have you played any Iron Banner this week? Have you
I
played?
played
much?
some, yeah.
Yeah.
I played some.
How do you feel
I
about it?
completed all the bounties on my hunter.
Okay.
I thought it felt pretty good, honestly. I think stasis nerfs feel good. There's
Yeah.
a lot less stasis in Crucible in general, but it's still used, and someone that's very good with it's oppressive, especially on a Titan. I feel like Titans
Mm-hmm.
are probably still the best. And I'll give you the perfect example of someone that used it really well that I watched the other day. It was in Trials. It was Frostbolt, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And he was using it with Titan's Ramparts. And what he was doing was using his nade to position like his wall, glacial wall.
Mm-hmm.
And then he used that perk that gives you overshield when you get the shards.
Right.
And so he was using his Titan wall to shoot through to his glacial wall, breaking it, getting one shard as he peaked. So he had an overshield as he was peaking.
Okay.
But he had the info of like when to peek and where because of his Titan shield, and he could push people back to get that overshield by shooting through his Titan shield. Like it was some next level strat stuff, but that's the kind of stuff that like he deserves to get kills because he's outplaying people through that.
Right.
So,
And
it was cool.
Not just because of like maybe how oppressive
Yeah.
stasis can be. Like I kind of like where it fits right now. I've been seeing a lot more like light subclasses in the Crucible. I've played a ton of Iron Banner this week, and I really like where that sits now. I've probably been frozen a dozen times.
Yeah.
In all
But the
of it.
freezes aren't crazy.
No.
Like most of the time you live through the freeze, unless it's a super, which is fine because it's a super.
Yeah,
Like,
as it should be.
yeah. I think it's good. I still think Top Tree Dawnblade needs adjusting. Like
Yeah.
it was the highest played class by far, even before stasis nerfs. So it's like, come on.
Yeah, and we touched on
But-
that a little bit during the during last week's episode with the Firing Range podcast interview
Yeah.
with Kevin Yanis, like where he had said that was kind of like one of the anime supers, like power fantasy supers that maybe could be reeled in just a little bit.
Yep.
So
Yep. I mean, stasis was like the direct counter to it, and that's why all those like mains were so pissed. That, like now that stasis is not as oppressive as it was, Dawnblades are just flying everywhere, and no one can do anything about it.
yeah,
But overall, to answer your question, Iron Banner felt good. The loot pool, a little bit too wide, I feel like. So like people trying to roll tokens for specific weapons, it's tough. Maybe like if there was like an armor pool, like tokens that could just go armor and then tokens that could go weapons, it would take some of that out. But like even if you just rolled all weapons, there's so many weapons in the pool. If you were trying to go for a shotgun, it was hard.
yeah. I just finished my quest from Iron Banner, from like the previous Iron Banner this week, and so got a wrist walker that was pretty nice. But I've had a couple of them drop since, and none that I thought like were especially special. And now that I look at Dim, I have one that's Slideways Vorpal, so I'm gonna eat that.
Ooh,
I'm gonna eat that.
there you go.
Yeah. But I don't know. I agree, because you're not able to get. Everybody wants the new stuff, and maybe if the new stuff was weighted a little bit heavier.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah.
Like, you'd see.
I can't tell you how many Time Worn Spires that I've gotten, and I'm like, come on, man. Like,
No more.
Please. It feels like the old stuff is weighted higher than the new stuff.
Yeah.
It should be the other way around, but RNG's RNG, so who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Games felt better on PC, and I played a little bit on PlayStation today. Wasn't like really rolling anybody too hard, but also wasn't getting rolled, which I don't think I've experienced in Iron Banner and Destiny 2 in quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah, we had some good matches. There's some pretty sweaty teams out there, some decent teams. The matches just felt good overall. So I don't know. I think Iron Banner's in a decent spot, but they still need to change up the game mode. Like, they need to change it from just control.
Yeah.
And kind of like reinvent Iron Banner, because it's hard to get excited every time Iron Banner comes out, unless there's new loot. Otherwise, it's like, well, I have the same quests, I have the same bounties, it's the same game mode.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like, Clash or Kill Confirmed. Like, yeah, those would be great.
Or like if people want Rift really bad, bring it back with Iron Banner. That'd be a huge win. Or just some variation of Rift. I don't know.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Especially, like, now we've said this in past episodes, where it's like, especially with the throw mechanics that we have in Destiny 2, Rift could be a very interesting
yes it could
side sport in the game. I don't know, like, what else do we have here this week? Like, outside of that, did you play the Expunge mission this week?
Played the Expunge mission. It was cool. I really like the storytelling that they're doing through that. I hope the last mission has I hope it's kind of like a dungeon. Yeah. I feel like I hope this is kind of building up from like mission to mission. I hope the last one has multiple bosses in it and like a really cool final boss encounter. I doubt that's going to happen, but there's a lot of potential. Like this whole environment, whoever came up with the Tron design and the design team that has put that into place, they've done a phenomenal job. But there's a lot of opportunity there. I feel like the bosses and the encounters at the end so far are really easy and kind of just but if they did something like difficult and dungeon-like on the final one, could be really good. But they would have to keep it around, because we wouldn't have a lot of time then if they got rid of the Expunge missions after this season.
Right.
So, and who knows?
We are getting, like, I believe it's like Taken versions of them sometime in the future.
Are we?
Like different versions of these missions.
Ooh.
So, that being said, we'll probably maybe the same difficulty, maybe a little bit more difficult. I don't know, but like, we have seen that pop up over like somewhere in there. So I believe I saw that somewhere. But then we have next week, we have the raid challenges, Vault of Glass raid challenge. Did you do day one?
I did.
Yeah. How'd you feel?
It was fun. Yeah. I really like what they've done with redesigning Vogue. Now a few weeks later, like every raid that we have is kind of the same. It just feels but the day one experience was really cool. I think our team got 54th overall.
So you did like that. So you did the challenges as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the challenges. I like what they did with a lot of the challenges. I think the hardest one was probably Gatekeeper.
What was the challenge for that?
We had to kill the Hydra and the Minotaur within like 5 seconds of each other, I think. I remember correctly.
So you had to time that out.
Yeah. So there was a lot of communication between like passing the thing, making that work, and then when to kill it, all that good stuff. Atheon challenge was decent. as long as you had a team that could communicate pretty well, and the relic holder was able to realize that they had to drop the relic, shoot the thing, and then pick it back up, because it was only like one person could only shoot one oracle.
Right.
That wasn't too bad. Yeah, I just think the design of it, they made it feel like old VoG, but they made it feel even more ominous with like the environmental effects they can do now. And what they did with the oracles to make it Simon Says. I feel like they were sitting at their conference table and they had a Simon Says sitting in the middle, and they're like, "That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. We're gonna make them shoot the oracles in order." I thought that was cool.
It only makes sense. Like in Destiny 1, it was fine that they were like kind of a set commodity in that oracle phase, but it would have been such a bummer had they brought that through into Destiny 2 when they have options like that, you know?
Yeah.
And
what was frustrating for our team is we were having a hard time communicating those oracles and having a hard time figuring out a consistent way of doing it. So we wiped, I think, 2 or 3 times at the very last phase of oracles, which killed our time. We were like seconds, I think, in the running for a little bit, right behind Elysium. And then we hit a giant brick wall at like killing those things in order, and it sucked, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So, man, that sucks. So
yeah, it was cool though. I like what they did with it.
Yeah, I've really liked, especially like the gatekeeper challenge or the gatekeeper like change ups that they did with the confluxes inside the portals.
Yep.
I really enjoy that, and it did feel kind of ominous on the day, on day one, when you saw them kind of chugging down the stairs, just ever present, constant, just coming for you. They just want to get to that conflux, buddy. Let them through.
I mean, you know the answer to that, right?
Well, go for it.
You throw Jerry at him.
Oh, well, I mean, you could throw Jerry.
You guys call him Jerry?
No.
You know what I'm talking about? The ice grenade, the Warlock ice grenade.
Okay, so somebody said that they named theirs Trent today. In a raid.
You call ours Jerry.
You call yours Jerry. Gotcha. See, we didn't.
Yep.
We weren't using any of that. I can't remember. I think I was still using Yeet Titan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in that encounter, probably wasn't the wisest decision on the day, but
I mean, you could delete the Hydras when they came in, or the Harpies with the legs.
That's how I was doing it. I was just like, nope, don't need this in here. This can go bye-bye real quick. So, all right. So we have Vault of Glass raid challenges coming next week. Solstice of Heroes begins in a couple weeks on July 6th, and with that comes a Vault of Glass difficulty option. Do you think that it'll basically be like an on-off switch for day one, like raid day one challenge, or what would you like? I
don't know. I would like to be harder than that. I'd like to be harder than day one. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Because like, I want something that's extremely difficult that you can do consistently, and teams can like work towards. Like, if a team's not able to finish it, they can continue to practice, get better, and then when they do finish, it's just like the super cool thing. We don't have any of that. There's none of that. Like, unless you're just an unseasoned raider and like this is one of your first raids, and you're like, yes, I made it through a raid.
Yeah.
But I would love for this to be insanely difficult. I don't think it's going to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The time loss weapons, I would like them to make them a little bit more than just a depth weapons, but I don't think they're going to. I think they'll just be a depth weapons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be cool if they put Oracle Killer back on the weapons.
Which, do we know what all rolls on them now? Like, I think it might be in Destiny 2 Gunsmith, possibly.
Yeah. I think they took the Oracle Killer perk and made it on your armor instead through all the different armor perks.
Which is it
makes sense.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I think it'll be a cool experience. I think it'll be difficult, but I don't think it'll be that bad. Once strats come out and once all the YouTube videos come out, it'll be a breeze for most teams to get through it.
Gotcha.
So, what do you think?
I'm kind of hoping for the day one. Like, I thought that experience was was pretty fun. Although we didn't make it through Atheon in the first day though. So
Okay.
when my team was like plugging away at it, I thought it was like a fairly fun endeavor to do with a group of folks. I don't know how often I personally would be running a harder version of it at this point, because
Sure.
if there aren't perks like that help take down the oracles on the adept versions of guns from this raid, there's not really much reason to run it except for maybe to get the mods.
Right.
Run through, get whatever mods that they're going to be dropping, and then help people through the regular version.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless
I think you're right.
Yeah.
An emblem,
Yeah.
maybe.
Higher
for
chance
like your
of
first
Vex,
completion would
maybe?
be cool. Yeah, a higher chance of X. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They've kind of dug themselves into a weird spot of how to reward the higher tier content outside of just like more stats on a weapon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
like GMs, we're going to be getting those in a couple weeks. I think we confirmed on
Yeah.
June 22nd. So like, even with those, I mean that to me is enough carrot on a stick to run those, is to get
Yeah.
the adept versions of those weapons. But at the same, like, I'm not running for me on a lot of junctures when I'm playing, if that makes sense.
Oh, you also have the Conqueror title, so there's
Yeah.
a bit of that. Like there, I don't think there's going to be. Well, I guess to complete the title, you have to do the whole raid on Master. So there's that. That's one of the triumphs in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be cool to have like a separate title that was all related to the Master version of the raid and have it be super difficult.
Master
So like when
Fatebreaker.
people have that title on, you're just like, damn, like that person's a gamer.
Like maybe you would +1 it during the season. Like,
yeah. Right. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but that's like in my mind, there's some cool things they could do with the existing content they have, just making it way more difficult. And you don't have to reward outside of just like a cool title.
Right.
But we've talked about that before on many other podcasts.
Exactly. I mean,
So.
As is Destiny, it always rotates around.
Exactly.
So, this week at Destiny or in Bungie, hasn't, not a lot going on news wise. We got a little bit of information that we have. Yeah, we have raid challenges. We'll begin rolling out for Vault of Glass next week. Let's see. They announced their Women at Bungie initiative,
which is cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Very cool. They also announced how they'll be supporting GCX this year.
Dude, those emblems look so good.
Yeah, dude. The emblem for the Lost Ghosts is hands down one of the coolest things. Like, so there's going to be 7 dead ghosts throughout the space station for GCX, and if you find all of them, you get a special emblem. I believe what's it called? I think they named it right.
I'm looking for the name right now.
They don't give it a name in here.
No, they don't.
They also, if you give a donation of $50, I think that's the exact amount, you get a special emblem on top of that. And for every $7, for every donation of exactly $7, you're entered in for a chance to win one of 7 Eris Morn statues signed by the voice actress of Eris Morn, Morla herself. So that's super cool. And all of the Bungie Foundation items from the store will go to St. Jude from June 13th, that's today, through June 20th.
I love the donation one.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about like the color scheme, but it just looks so cool to me. I'm definitely going to get that.
It's like super synth wavy. This entire season has been super synth wavy.
So, Agreed.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. Also GCX, like, sad that it's not in person this year. Understanding why it's not in person. However, like, I'm really excited to see what they do with it in this kind of in this kind of medium, especially using like Unreal Engine. I think
Yeah.
it was Unreal or Unity. I can't remember which. They used.
Pretty sure it was Unreal.
Yeah.
And
So,
they showed off the Intel booth, and like, or was it Intel or Logitech? It was Logitech, I think.
yeah.
But it looks so cool. It looks like an actual booth. Like, I can just imagine running through there right now with your avatar and just like hanging out with people. I'm excited, and for a team to put that, a small team that they have to put that together in less than a year is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that they don't run into server issues and they don't have to like go through that whole thing because they're like releasing a game. And whenever games release, we know how that goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Especially on the short time frame that they have.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's gonna be a lot of people.
Yeah. There are going to be a lot of people. And this like week leading up to it's bound to be bonkers as well. Like it's always like a really cool thing to see how the Destiny community comes together around GCX. And so especially like in this year when there wasn't one last year, like I'm very excited to see what they're putting together and how it's executed. Guardians Assemble. Good news for everyone who likes Rifts. This comes from this past week's TWAB. Boots of the Assembler will be returning to their release functionality with a little bit extra as well. On release, there was an issue with the exotic that could cause crashes due to the large number of rifts with noble seekers being created. As a stopgap measure, the perk was changed to prevent those crashes without disabling the exotic, while an engineering fix could be developed to address the crashing problem. Now that the work is done to prevent the crashes in the first place, they can return to their former Riftastic glory in our next update. And empowering noble seekers will properly proc Benevolent Dawn for attunement of Grace Warlocks. What are your thoughts on that?
So good. It's so good. Oh man, I don't know. I haven't used it that much because I'm not a huge Warlock player. But I know when it first came out, it was insanely good. So I'm kind of glad that it's going back to its glory because that Warlocks could use something else, especially on Middle Tree on Well. That is something outside of Phoenix Protocol.
Yeah.
Like if they want to be a support class, Phoenix Protocol was pretty much the only thing you could use for that. And this gives you something else. And you could use it across different subclasses as well, but I think it'll fit perfectly with that. So
it definitely, once I ground those out, I was able to get, like, I'm glad that I was able to get them on my Warlock, first of all, because it was a struggle. But it gave me a reason to take off Lunafactions in a lot of activities or Geomax. Especially when I'm playing like light activities with different fire team members. I can see how they'd be useful in maybe like GMs, especially after they get like this buff. But I'm waiting to see. I'm excited for GMs to come back. And excited for the strategies, especially around like breach and clear, and want to see how Boots of the Assembler would fit into that.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree with you. It allows for a different type of play style, like a full support play style that we don't really have in the game right now.
Right.
Like we have support classes, and again, Well's like the one where you have your healing nades, that kind of thing. But it really allows for you to just fully support your team by just having a bunch of heals down for your team, and then damage buffs on top of that if you're using Lumina. So you can really be like a healer in the game, and this is the first time that we've really ever seen that.
Right. Oh man, especially with Lumina, like that. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like a healer buff that just kind of sits in the back, and you make sure that you keep your team alive. Kind of the idea.
I like the thought process around that, and hopefully the execution of these buffs to those pants return it or make it even more glorious.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see here. Outside of that, we got a little clarification about a golden gun. In 3.0.0, they unintentionally extended the range of 6-shooter. They fixed that issue but failed to mention it in update 3.2.0. 6-shooter now works as it did before and is listed in 2.7 patch notes. So,
Yep.
all in all...
Did you see the two-tailed fox is broken now?
No! How is the two-tailed fox broken?
Apparently, so I read this article recently, kind of before I hopped on.
Yeah.
And I guess it just destroys Templar. It does way more damage than it's supposed to. And it kind of like just deletes a health bar situation again, kind of like what we've had in the past.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really knows how or why it works, but it's one of those things. You just shoot two-tailed fox and it dies.
It just works.
Go give it a shot. And it wasn't confirmed to work on anything else but Templar because that was the time it was really seen. Yeah. So run it Templar, shoot a bunch of two-tailed fox, see what happens.
Okay.
Put Godslayer warheads on and have fun.
That's gonna be what I end up doing, I think, next round. Because that
You're
does sound
welcome.
dumb. That sounds so dumb. Yeah. Thank you so much for letting us know. Let's see here. We do have a couple of questions from the audience. Ophi the Peacock asks, how last year we had super high-end things to get glowy boy armor like Trials runs or Pit of Heresy, etc. Do you see them implementing VOG into one of the armor requirements?
Doing Master or something like that?
For Solstice.
I can see that. I can see that.
It would be one of the... It gets people into those activities. Especially like if it's Grandmaster or the Raid or something along those lines. It helps get people into those activities. It builds that player base up a little bit and allows for a little bit of glowy whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm hopeful.
I just hope they make Solstice something different than what it has been the last, 4 years.
Than just picking up glowy orbs.
They're not going to, but I really hope they make it different.
How would you change Solstice to be a more meaningful experience?
I mean, they just have to make the events, activities different. Literally anything. Just make it something different. You go... Outside of developing something brand new, I don't know how they could really use what they have existing. Maybe make a Tron-inspired Infinite Forest.
Okay.
Just change the textures in Infinite Forest and then change how the mechanics work in there. Because people love Infinite Forest. They love the Haunted Forest. That was a big win, but it just got stale because it was the same thing for multiple seasons. But they love the concept. So if you could take that concept, Tronitize it, and then make the mechanics in it a little bit different, maybe more Tron style, that could be cool. Maybe put a little bit of SRL, like Tron SRL in it.
Oh boy.
Really blow people's minds.
Yeah. I know a lot of people have been or I think I saw a tweet at the beginning of the season. Something along the lines of hey, all this stuff, would really love to see a Crucible map on this weird Tron terrain. That would be super
I think that
cool.
was Benji. Pretty sure Benji said that. Which, yes, they have so many cool assets to make stuff like that. But making a good PvP map takes a lot of time.
Yeah. That it does. Gray Fox asks, with how the season stories have been flowing into each other, how do you feel that the end of the season will end with Future War Cult kind of on the bad side of things? Kind of?
Kind of, yeah, right. I don't know. I'm not a huge lore guy, so I don't really follow that too much. But
the story right now, I mean, Lakshmi is piling shit higher and deeper every time she opens her mouth. She's trying to get Ikora out. She's trying to get Ikora and Zavala out. I think she had mentioned trying to get Shax into the position of power to the other heads of the factions.
She's turning herself into an interesting villain because pretty much no one likes her right now. like an
Right.
unexpected villain.
And like when we were talking about it earlier, right, with Future War Cult, where it's like, yeah, there is a war coming, right? That was like the initial idea. There's a war coming, and we have to be prepared for it in order to like best it and move on as a society and culture. I didn't know it was going to take quite this turn.
Yeah, no,
with
I don't
Lakshmi.
think anyone did. Like getting one of the factions involved and kind of making them not good.
Yeah.
I guess because you always think of like all the guardians and the factions being good, but we're getting a hint of Future War Cult not being good,
Yeah.
which is interesting.
Well, we had like, I think we had the Concordat way back in the day, back in Destiny 1.
That was literally Latin to me. I have
Oh,
no
yeah,
idea
yeah.
who's-
No, so the Bannerfall map itself is like in one of the abandoned towers, right? And I believe that it was two factions. I believe it was was it Dead Orbit that took on the Concordat and then ended up like beating the Concordat so that they were no longer a faction in the tower. Like that's
What's
how
the Concordat?
if I could remember the name, it started with an L. I remember that like so far back.
Was it like a war?
Yeah,
Or-
well, it was a faction, and its leader was kind of doing what Lakshmi's doing right now.
Huh.
And the Vanguard didn't really stand for it. It was either Vanguard or one of the other factions that ended up beating the Concordat out, and then ended up replacing them as a
Oh.
seat along that council. So maybe we're seeing something along the same lines happening here in game, where Future War Cult, like because of the actions of Lakshmi, we either get like a new leader of that faction, or we see maybe a new faction rise up to beat them.
Yeah. Gray Fox makes a good point in
Yeah.
chat. Shakes up the factions instead of coming back as an event run. But yeah, it involves the factions outside of just like being loot vendors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's important because factions I feel like are huge in Destiny, and we haven't really gotten any much lore behind the factions
Yeah.
outside of like things that you need to read that I don't apparently.
I could see, without getting into data mine stuff, without getting into spoiler stuff, without knowing exactly how all this is going to turn out, I think it would be interesting if we saw the House of Light as a faction.
Yeah, I guess.
If history repeats itself in the same way that it did with the Concordat, and we see the Future War Cult kind of driven out of the tower from this power position, I could see the House of Light taking that spot and having a spot, like maybe not speaking for the city, but it would bring the Elixni, pardon me, it would bring the Elixni into that council and into a higher position overall.
That'd be cool.
That would be neat.
And I mean, dude, they're called the Future War Cult. That just sounds shady.
I know, but at the time it
Like-
sounded neat. It
They
was
have
like,
weird colors. Their name is Future War Cult.
but here's the
Cult.
thing about cults, dude. They're very easy to join.
Right.
A little bit of Kool-Aid, some refreshments, a very charismatic leader. Like, you know, things happen. You join a
Dan's
cult.
in a cult. Chat. Dan's in a cult.
If I
Confirmed.
could zoom in right now, I would. Anyway. Outside of that, that was pretty
There's
much it, right?
a couple more questions.
Okay, shoot the moon.
That I saw. With E3, so this is kind of outside Destiny, but with E3 kicking off this week, have you seen anything exciting or that you're looking forward to? And let's say limited to one thing that you're excited about.
Man. So, I saw the trailer for Elden Ring
Yes.
on that first night of the Summer Game Fest. Now, also to Dr. Jones. So, when I was watching that trailer, I thought it looked cool. It's from Software. They have a really good pedigree in the games that they make. They kind of make the same game but with like different bits of the recipe, right? Like some of them you have to be more defensive, some of them you have to be more aggressive in order to like get your life back skills and so forth. This looks like a very Lord of the Ringsy style game in that kind of oeuvre that they've got building up.
Yep.
It looks interesting. I've never finished a From Software game though.
So dude, you need to.
I'm starting to think that I should like, because I started Bloodborne and I liked Bloodborne, but I never finished it. And same thing with Sekiro. I never finished Sekiro either. I know. These are things.
Does that count for me too?
Yeah,
Gum?
Like, blink twice if Dan is offending you with his lack of culture.
I mean, Bloodborne and Sekiro, that whole like Soulsborne style of games, those are my two favorites. Like they're neck and neck for my favorite one by far. So please finish them.
Okay, sounds good.
Sekiro is very difficult.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad if you get stuck. Insanely hard. It's probably the hardest out of all of them.
Yeah. Well, I always find myself gravitating towards like Mass Effect just released, like its Legacy or Legendary Edition, and like played some Outriders. I know you played some Outriders. We're like, it's this kind of like looter shootery first person kind of thing. The closest that I've played a lot of Returnal recently in recent days. That's been a really fun game. I know. So I'm sorry. It comes from a point of privilege. I know. But it is it's roguelite in like a Bloodborne way, and you definitely have to know like the mechanics of each enemy that you're facing. But like that was probably the closest, and I still haven't finished that. But I've dumped like a ton of hours into it. Probably like 30 or 40 hours. So like I don't know. Could find my way back into Bloodborne again. Maybe I might download it tonight. Like
Stream it.
I possibly will. We'll see. We'll see how people feel about it. But what about you?
Cool.
Anything coming up?
Battlefield 2042.
Yeah.
Oh god,
a lot of that.
I love Battlefield games, and it looks like it's so much fun. You can play with a lot of friends. The big battles are so much fun, and there's a ton of replayability to it. So I'm excited.
Heck yeah. Cool. I know today they announced Halo Infinite will be out, I believe, close to the holiday this year.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then next year, like they're hoping to get Horizon Forbidden West around holiday of this year too. I don't know how that happens.
I need new hardware, man.
Yeah,
like
they're making.
I need a new computer and a PS5.
Yeah,
it's killing me.
Yeah, and like the new God of War game comes out next year. It's not. Yeah, there's not a lot of like appointment games right now, especially because the hardware is so tough to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So that stuff's coming out. A new Guardians of the Galaxy game, from what I heard, has like Final Fantasy VII-esque mechanics, the remaster mechanics of like you're Peter Quill and then you tell your team what to do. That seems interesting. It's from Square. So the eyebrows tell the tale.
I like Guardians of the Galaxy, but in video game form, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, Marvel's Avengers. Like, how was that?
It wasn't very good.
I don't know.
I mean, I didn't like it personally, but I mean, teach their own.
I never played it. I had a buddy who got really into it, but I was just like, nah, I can't. Like, I can't do this. That's not Chris Evans. That's not Chris Hemsworth. True. Ophi the Peacock saying the old ritual, Avengers is a dead game. We've heard that before about many others. So true. Peacock did ask though, since Sunshot has made itself known again with energy accelerant, that thing is freaking broken, by the way. That mod itself is insane. I know. Do you see them finally patching the Nessus Sunshot Catalyst Sun Blast Cheese? Say that 10 times fast. That, by the way, still works just as well. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what that is. Yeah. Like, is that where they keep coming out of the same tunnel over and over and over, and you just keep blowing them all up? Loot cave? Is that new loot cave? Is what I hear.
There's something like that. But like, it was always just like you go to the Thrallway and Shattered Throne.
Yeah.
That's it. So they would have to patch both of those things. So the Thrallway, that's the point, is to keep those things coming. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Because it's not hurting anyone. It's just an efficient way of getting a really boring task of masterworking something done.
Yeah, but that hasn't always been.
Yeah, true.
What else was there? There was
McCoy asked something as well.
Oh, okay.
How are veteran players to delete a stack of mod components efficiently if you have all the mod? With time and determination.
Yes. If you have a macro, if you're on PC, write a macro.
Yeah.
Just
macro your mouse and you're good.
Yep, it's gone.
Mouse and keyboard.
So, yeah. Other than that, I think that's a show, right?
Think
Short
so.
one. Short one.
Yeah.
Sweet one.
Short but sweet.
Yeah. So, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out in the guest host spot.
Of course.
I appreciate you taking the time and hanging out with me. Where can people find you on the internet, Iceman?
I am at IcemaN1H everywhere but in. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all the places. Instagram has the _1H still. But I stream usually 4 days a week, starting around noon central for about 4 or 5 hours a day. Try to put out at least one YouTube video a week, with other shorts and stuff blended in between on YouTube and TikTok. So that is me.
Heck yeah.
How about you?
Hi, my name is DanFinity. Oh my god.
You
I
good?
forgot my spiel. This
Uh-oh.
is like the first time I've done that. It's like so hot in my room.
You're getting old.
I know. 35. Couldn't be me. Hi, my name's DanFinity. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and the TikTok at DanFinity, where the eyes are L's. You can also find me on Twitch 3 days a week, twitch.tv/DanFinity, where I help people through different activities and also gamify my friendship with a couple of my closest buds on Tuesdays. Outside of that, this week is going to be kind of light on content from me just because we're going to be taking a trip this coming Thursday to Tennessee. And we'll be back here next Sunday, hopefully with a full crew and hanging out. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for coming to episode 282 of the Planet Destiny podcast. I hope you're all well, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good week, everyone. See ya.